A very good morning, class. Hope you all are fine and productive during this epidemic. And today, I will be teaching you all about the Awakened Citizen program that consists of session 15, part B, extending the limits of human knowledge. But before moving ahead, let us just quickly revise the part A of session 15, that is learning in all parts of our life. So students, during the previous class we have discussed about certain possibilities that we can extend through learning outside of the classroom, but in all parts of our life, by consciously improving ourselves in the hobbies and talents, by becoming aware of the world around us, and by trying out, experimenting and building new things. We can also explore the new possibility by connecting what you learn in the class and how you apply in your life, and learning from the instructions from our uh, and learning from the instructions and adopting them intelligently into your life, then reflecting upon the experiences and learning through them. Either it is good or bad, we tend to reflect upon their experiences and uh, introspect what could have happened and what we have done, and we can learn from our mistakes and more than from the success. So we can learn upon reflecting upon the experiences, either it is good or bad. So this was all about the part A, learning in all parts of my life, and today we will be discussing the part B, that is our next knowledge possibility, that is extending the limits of human knowledge. So part B, unit 1, meet some role models. So let us just explore this knowledge possibility by exploring some role models. So meet Nicholas Coppernickers. He was a mathematician and astronomer of the 16th century, and his students. Until the 16th century, people thought that the position of the earth was fixed, and they believed that the earth was at the center of the universe with the sun moving around it. So that was something that people used to believe during the 16th century. But what happens that Copernicus gave us a new theory of how the universe worked, where the earth moves around the sun, and he did so by using the mathematical calculations to explain planetary events recorded in the past. As you all can see that how he has studied all these kind of planetary events, and then he has given his theory. So students, let us just know that how did Copernicus extended the limits of his human knowledge of the workings of the universe. So Copernicus actually extended the limits of human knowledge on the workings of the universe by giving a new theory using mathematics. So he has used mathematical calculations in order to explain the planetary events recorded in the past. Let us meet another personality whose name is William Harvey, and he was the physician, that is, he is the doctor of medicine in the 17th century. So William Harvey was the first to describe completely and in detail the internal circulation and properties of blood being pumped to the brain and body by the heart. He did this by cutting and experimenting the bodies of dead animals, insects and humans, and recorded his observations and described them in detail. And before he has done this, students, let us just know that for centuries people thought that the food was cooked in the stomach and then distilled in the liver, where it was made into blood, and from there the blood moved to the heart, and the heart was like a furnace where blood was burned to produce body heat energy. So this was before before William Harvey has like discovered how the internal circulation was there. So before this, people tend to think about this. Then William Harvey has given his new findings, and let us just know how the William Harvey has extended the limits of human knowledge of anatomy, that is study of how the human body works. So actually he extended the limits of human knowledge of anatomy by making observations and collecting new knowledge on the human body. So we can see that he has examined the bodies by cutting the bodies of the dead animals, insects and humans, and also he has recorded the events and observations and has described them in detail. So this is how he came to know about the new knowledge of the human body. Then students meet C.V. Raman. Um, he was a 20th century physicist, and he was a Nobel Prize winner and got Bharat Ratna. So let us just know about him. C.V. Raman discovered that when light goes through a transparent material like glass, the light splits and gets scattered. So when C.V. Raman was traveling by ship to Europe, he saw the blue color of the ice and sea, and he wanted to know what gave it blue color. So back in his laboratory, he did experiments by putting light through ice, water, etc. to study how it got scattered. So he got the idea basically when he was traveling by ship to Europe, and he has observed while he was traveling, and then he extended his observation into the practical by experimenting in his laboratory. So he shared the findings with the world, and scientists use this new knowledge to study the nature of liquids, gases and solids. As you can see, he has given the certain formulas also. So students, let's just see how C.V. Raman extended the limits of human knowledge about the nature of light. So C.V. Raman extended the limits of human knowledge about the nature of light by doing experiments on light. So as we have seen that when he has observed the phenomena of the blue color, of how the light splits and gets scattered, and how the blue color of how it appears, the blue color of the ice and sea. So he had done experiments by putting light through ice, water, and how it got scattered. So this is how by doing experiments on the light he tends to gain this knowledge. So students, like these people, these personalities, there are several others who have extended the limits of human knowledge in their chosen subject throughout the history. As you can see, Isaac Newton, Charles Darwin, Louis Pasteur, these are all another personalities who have given an immense contribution to their own respective fields, and like them, you too can choose to become one of them. You can create your own knowledge, you can explore the new possibilities, and you can also contribute to contribute like this like these personalities in your own way. So it is because of these people that the human knowledge in our society has extended over this period of time and to what we know today. So because of these eminent personalities, we came to know more about the human knowledge. So moving on to the part B, unit 2, that is how is human knowledge extended over time. So let us just explore this with the examples of modern medicine, that is allopathic medicine. So we will study the history of evolution of this allopathic medicine, how it has been evolved during time. So how human knowledge in medicine has extended. So let's see that. You can see that let us just assume as ourselves as this boy, and you can see that how we will proceed. Let us just look at the history of modern medicine um, through these ancient times, then a few hundred years, medieval period, 19th to 20th century, and today. So we will explore this one by one. So let us come. Suppose you are here in ancient times. So as you can see in the on the slide also, that in ancient times people thought illnesses were caused due to evil spirits, and they use magic for cures. So what happened when somebody becomes ill, there were magicians and faith healers, and they used to blame the illness due to blame the illness as it is caused by the evil spirits, and they use magic for cures during the ancient times. So when we move forward, suppose you are here after a few hundred years, as you can see, people extended human knowledge by finding out the uses of herbs and plants in treating illnesses. So what happens with the period of time, people has extended their human knowledge, and they tend to find out the medicinal properties of the herbs and plants, and they started using these things in treating the illnesses. Then suppose you are here during the medieval period, that is from 10th to 16th century. As you can see on the slide, one dead body is lying there, and there are many observants around this dead body. So during this period, people started cutting the dead bodies to study its organs. So they cut the dead body in order to study the organs, and they extended the knowledge about the human body during this time and found various cures for diseases. So what happened, that they extended the knowledge by cutting the bodies, and they have learned about the organs, and also they have find cures for diseases. Then coming on to this 19th to 20th century, as you can see on the slide. So now the whole scenario of treating the illness has came down into the formation of the new buildings, which we came to known as the hospitals. And you can see here that people are there, and some sick person is there. So in the 19th to 20, during the 19th to 20th century, many technological inventions aided scientists and doctors to extend their knowledge by studying the smallest part of the human body, that is cells, and they also gained more knowledge on how germs cause diseases. So what happens during the 19th to 20th century students, that many scientists and doctors, they have extended their knowledge by exploring more about the smallest unit of our body, that is cell. They tend to have studied more in detail, and they gain more knowledge on how the germs, the bacteria, the virus cause the diseases. So during this time, this scientists and doctors have discovered this. So now today, coming to in the era that we are living today. So today, because of all these people who kept extending the knowledge in medical sciences, we are able to lead a long and healthy life. So because of the evolution of this modern medicine, we can now live happily and healthy, and we can lead a long life because of their works. So let us just quickly summarize the history of the modern medicine and how it has extended over the period of time. So let us just begin from ancient times. People thought illness were caused due to evil spirits and used magic for cures. Then after a few hundred years, people extended human knowledge by finding out the uses of herbs and plants in treating illnesses. Then what happens during the medieval period, in 10th to 16th century, people started cutting the dead bodies and studied their organs, and they have extended their knowledge about the human body during this time, and also find various cures for the diseases. And coming into the 19th to 20th century, many technological inventions aided scientists and doctors to extend their knowledge by studying the smallest part of the human body, that is cell, and they have gained knowledge about how the germs cause the diseases. And today, because of all these people who kept extending their knowledge in medical sciences, we are able to lead a long and healthy life. So this is how the modern medicine have evolved within a certain specific periods of time. Now coming on to the part B, unit 3, that is exploring what happens to people who extend the limits of human knowledge. So let us just explore this let us just explore this through some examples. So here are certain examples as you can see on the slide. That is, example number 1 is V.S. Ramchandran. He is a neuroscientist and his work is extending the limits of human knowledge on how the brain works. So he has basically studied about how the brain works, and that is what he says about the time he was still in school. During the time when he was in school, so it was his saying and thoughts that I found myself attracted to biology. My mind was full of questions in biology. I found mysteries and possibilities everywhere. So this was a thinking regarding his favorite subject, that is the biology, and these were the thoughts when he was in the school. Then talking about the another example, that is Stephen Hawkins, cosmologist and theoretical physicist. So his work is extending the limits of human knowledge and how the universe has been originated. So this is what his mother said about him when he was young. His mother said that Stephen always had a strong sense of wonder, and I could see the stars would attract him. So his mother has observed that he was very much attracted towards the stars in the sky. And through these examples, students what will learn about the qualities that awakened in them is that they developed a genuine love for the subject they studied. So what happened is that V.S. Ramchandran, neuroscientist, he has a genuine love for the subject of biology, and Stephen Hawkins has an intense liking for his subject of theoretical physics relating to the stars. Then moving on to the example 3, that is S. Chandrasekhar, astrophysicist and Nobel Prize winner. His work extended the limits of human knowledge of astrophysics, that is study of stars and their systems. So more than 60 years he studied various fields of physics and astrophysics, and he interacted with other physicists to know their thinking. He also edited the Astrophysical Journal. This kept him up to date with the latest development made in the field by other scientists. So what he has done, that he tend to study more and more about his field, and he tend to gain knowledge by studying. Then the next example that we can see is Theodore Mommsen. So this his work extended the limits of human knowledge on Roman history, and he spent more than 50 years studying and teaching Roman history. He did systematic study of ancient coins, inscriptions, and literature for several years, and using this he recreated the history of Rome. So in these examples, what we learned, that is there are certain specific qualities that awakened in them, and that quality is that they mastered their subject through systematic study over several years. As we can see, they have studied for a long period of time about their subject, and they were keeping them up to date about the new discoveries also. So they also, that is what led them to have a new, led them to make extend the limits of the human knowledge possibilities. Then example 5 is James Watson, molecular biologist. So people who did not understand how information is stored in human cells, Watson along with his partner Francis Crick solved this puzzle by proposing the structure of DNA. So he has proposed a structure of DNA, and he has contributed in the field of molecular biologists to a very great extent. Then coming to the example 6, that is Thomas Kuhn. Thomas Kuhn, physicist, historian and scientific philosopher. So people believed that science developed slowly over centuries, but Thomas proposed a theory which broke this idea and brought a new understanding of how scientific knowledge progresses. So in these examples we learn about the qualities that awakened them is that they were able to work on the puzzling or unknown aspect of their field and developed or offered new theories. So they have actually explored the new unknown or the puzzling aspect of the theory. So students, we can see another example such as Charles Darwin. He was a naturalist and geologist. So when Darwin gave a new theory that said we have descended from monkeys and apes, many people opposed him, and like scientists, historians, religious leaders and common people. So people also laughed at him and got angry with him, but Darwin had the courage to defend his theory against all of them by showing scientific evidence for his theory in nature. So when he has given the theory, many people have opposed him, some have laughed and some got angry also, and but he stick to his theory by giving scientific evidences. Now moving on to the another example, Galileo Galilei. He was a mathematician, physicist and astronomer. So in his work, when Galileo supported the theories of Coppernickers that said the earth was not at the center of the universe but moved around the sun, many people opposed him, like astronomers, scientists and the religious leaders. He was even put in prison for this, but Galileo had the courage to fight back and defend his theories. He used his telescope and other instruments to gather proof to support his theory. So when he has given the theory, many people were against it, and he was also imprisoned, but he stuck to his theory and he also proved it. So students, what quality do we learn from these? What are the qualities that was awakened in them? Is that they develop the intellectual courage and strength to test out their theories, and if true, they have defended them against all the oppositions. So students, as you grow up, you too can extend the limits of your human knowledge in the subject of your choice. Whatever subject you like the most, you can go into that field by like mastering that subject through systematic study, keeping up with the latest developments within the field, by working on the puzzling or unknown aspect of your field, and to develop new theories and hypotheses. Also you can develop extend the human knowledge by developing the intellectual courage and strength to test out your theories, and if true, defend it against all the opposition, and developing a genuine love for the subject. So now I'm going to summarize the session 15. Today we have explored one of the knowledge possibility, that was part B, that is extending the limits of human knowledge. So but it is consists of session 15, which has two parts, that is part A, also learning in all parts of my life. So let us just summarize it. Learning in all parts of my life, through in this part we have learned that we not only learn in classroom, but we also learn in different aspect of our life, and we put that knowledge into our practical life in order to evolve ourselves, in order to make our personality, make a growth in our personality, and have a look at the new possibilities of learning through different aspects. Then coming on to the extending the limits of human knowledge, we have extended the limits of human knowledge in in chosen fields of study or work, like nuclear physics, anthropology, psychology, biotechnology, environmental sciences, and cosmology. And there are so many more subjects that you people can select for your career and go with that, and have a new and make new discoveries, or extend the discoveries that has been there. So with this I complete the session 15, and this is the end of session 15. So goodbye class, and take care.